Hello and welcome once again. In this video, we shall look at contemporary issues in education. The Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). The Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, are a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. It is adopted by 193 countries, including Ghana. The SDGs came into effect in January 2016 and aim to foster economic growth, ensure social inclusion and protect the environment. Goal 1. No poverty. This goal is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Goal 2. Zero hunger. This goal is to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Goal 3. Good health and well-being. This goal is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Goal 4. Quality education. This goal is to ensure inclusive and quality education for all and promoting lifelong learning. Goal 5. Gender equality. This goal is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Goal 6. Clean water and sanitation. This goal is to ensure access to safe water sources and sanitation for all. Goal 7. Affordable and clean energy. This goal is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. Goal 8. Decent work and economic growth. This goal is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment and decent work for all. Goal 9. Industry innovation and infrastructure. This goal is to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. Goal 10. Reduced inequality. This goal is to reduce inequalities within and among countries. Goal 11. Sustainable cities and communities. This goal is to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable. Goal 12. Responsible consumption and production. This goal is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. Goal 13. Climate action. This goal is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Goal 14. Life below water. This goal is to conserve and sustainably use the world's ocean, sea, and marine resources. Goal 15. Life on land. This goal is to sustainably manage forest, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. Goal 16. Peace, justice and strong institutions. This goal is to promote peaceful, inclusive societies, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. Goal 17. Partnership for the goal. This goal is to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. The Education Strategic Plan, 2018 to 2030. The Education Strategy Plan, according to the National Pre-Tertiary Curriculum, highlights 3 key priority areas for improving our education system. 1. Improved, equitable access to and participation in inclusive, quality education at all levels. 2. Improved quality of teaching and learning STEM at all levels. And 3. Sustainable and efficient management, financing and accountability of education, service delivery. In the context of education, 2030. An international benchmark is that 4 to 6% of GDP and or 15 to 20% of the government budget should be allocated for education. The UNESCO Education 2030 Framework for Action. The Framework for Action is the roadmap to guide the international community and national governments until 2030 in their efforts to achieve UN SDG 4. The key strategies. Point 1. By 2030, governments must ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education. 2. By 2030, governments must ensure that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development and care. 3. By 2030, government must ensure equal access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational and tertiary education. 4. That by 2030, there should be a climax to gender disparity in education. 5. By 2030, governments must ensure that all youth and a substantial proportion of adults, both men and women, achieve literacy and numeracy. And finally 6. By 2030, governments must ensure that all learnings acquire knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development. The National Teacher Standards. The National Teacher Standards, NTS, set out the minimum level of practice that all trained teachers must reach by the end of their pre-service teacher education course in order to play such a critical role. The minimum level of practice are described as standards that beginners teachers must meet under the following 3 categories. 1. Professional values. According to the NTS guidelines, teachers should be guided by legal and ethical teacher code of conduct in their development as professional teachers. 2. Professional practice. The teacher should employ a repertoire of learning strategies in order to meet the learning needs of children through the application of relevance resources. 3. Professional knowledge. The teacher should understand how children develop and learn in diverse contexts. That is cultural, linguistic, social, economic and educational backgrounds, and apply this in teaching. The National Teacher Education Curriculum Framework. Under this framework, fully prepared teachers should be enabled to teach the basic school curriculum, in particular Ghanaian languages and English, mathematics and science, concentrating on relevant subjects and pedagogic knowledge. The keys to success in teacher education depend on the following 4 pillars of education, which are 1. Subject and curriculum knowledge. 2. Pedagogic knowledge. 3. Literacy studies, and 4. Supported teaching in schools. ICT for Accelerated Development, ICT Policy Framework. The main mission is to transform Ghana into an information-rich, knowledge-based and technology-driven high-income economy in society. The National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy. The policy provides the framework to create these institutions and develop the human resource base. It aims to achieve the national objectives for wealth creation, poverty reduction, enterprise competitiveness, sustainable environmental management and industrial growth. The teacher professional development. Professional development is defined as activities that develop an individual's skills, knowledge, expertise and other characteristics as a teacher. A teaching standard has been developed to codify what a good teacher looks like for Ghana. Types of professional development. 1. Courses and workshop. 2. Reading professional literature. 3. Education conferences and seminars. 4. Mentoring and peer observation, and 5. Observation visits to other schools. Now I want us to look at techniques for answering true or false questions. The first is Principle 1. For a statement to be true, each part must be true. One detail can make an entire statement false. At a glance, a sentence may appear to be true because it contains facts and statements that are true. However, if just one part of the sentence is false, then the entire sentence is false. Read each word set and phrase individually and carefully. If one word set or phrase in the statement is false, even if the rest are true, then the entire statement is false and the answer is false. A sentence may be mostly true because it contains correct information, but it is ultimately false if it contains any incorrect information. Principle 2. Pay attention to absolute qualifiers or extreme modifiers. Absolute words imply there are no exceptions to the facts stated in the question. Extreme modifiers make it more likely that the question is false. These words tend to make a statement false, but not always. Examples: always, never, worse, nobody, everybody, etc. Everyone should exercise daily. True or false? False, due to the word everyone. There are many people who should not exercise daily and people who may be unable or prohibited from doing any exercise. Principle 3. Pay attention to relative qualifiers. These qualifiers allow for exception and possibility that can make a question true, but not always. They also increase the likelihood that the statement is true. Example: much, most, unlikely, sometimes. Children sometimes have emotional problems following their parents' divorce. The answer is true because the qualifier sometimes limits the scope of these statements, allowing for the exceptional. Principle 4. Don't let negatives confuse you. Negatives such as no, not, cannot, can be confusing within the context of a true or false sentence or statement. If a true or false sentence contains a negative, drop the negative word and then read what remains without the negative. Determine whether the sentence is true or false. If the sentence without the negative is true, then the correct answer would be false. Principle 5. Watch for statements with double negative. Statements with two negative words are positive. Negative words include not and cannot, along with words beginning with the prefix dis, Illinois, im, in, ir, non and un. Example: it is unlikely that Kofi would not win the race. Is the same as, it is likely that Kofi will win the race. Not uncommon means common. Principle number 6. Pay attention to interrogative words. Interrogative words such as which, where, when tends to make the statement true, but not always. When you do not know the answer, mark it true. There are generally more true questions on true or false exams than false questions. Examiners find it difficult to make a false statement look true. Principle 7. Thoroughly examine long sentences and statements. Principle 8. Make educated guess. If it will not negatively impact your score and you are unsure of the answer, make an educated guess. You have a 1 in 2 chance of being right. However, truth be told, often true or false tests contains more true answers than false answers. So if you are completely unsure, guess true. Thanks for watching. In our next video, we shall look at concept of educational policy and school reforms in Ghana. Do subscribe, share, comment and like as well. See you in the next video.